President-elect delaying a planned news conference about the future of his business empire and also announcing that his two oldest sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, will be in charge of the company along with executives and that no new deals will be struck while Mr. Trump is in the White House. Joining me now is former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, a former presidential candidate. Governor, thank you so much for joining us today. Let me ask you first about delaying the press conference and really the official announcement about the business affairs. There are some people that are wondering if maybe this was about not putting the president in front of reporters, the president-elect in front of reporters to answer questions ahead of the electors getting together next week, or with all these questions swirling about Russia, that maybe it wasn't a good time to put him out there. What's your response to that?
Well, I think it has more to do with the fact that he's been focused largely on filling out not only his cabinet but his White House staff, and he wants to get that underway, let these people begin the process of selling homes, finding a place to live in Washington. It's a pretty major thing to accept one of these cabinet posts. A lot of people forget that it upends the lives of a lot of families. I think that's what he's doing. It's not anything more complex than that.
Do you think it has been a long time since he's been out in front of reporters just taking questions, the way that we saw him in the campaign days? You know, is he due to do something like that? Is it fair to criticize him for not having been out there in a while?
Oh, it's always fair to criticize a politician. That's the American way. It's what we do. But, you know, the fact is he has done a number of interviews. He's not gone into hiding, but I think he's been very selective about what he does. And part of the reason is because he knows if he walks out in front of a group of just random reporters, they're not going to treat him fairly. They're not going to quote him accurately. They're not going to give him any type of responsible journalistic treatment. He knows that, so why bother? There's a biblical phrase, don't cast your pearls before the swine. I think, you know, he's deciding that he just won't use the pearls, the wisdom that he has, and throw them to the pigs, because they're not going to do anything but trample them and swallow them and probably get choked on them.
Wow.
So he's going directly to the people. With Twitter, he's going directly on interviews that he controls. You know, what he's doing, he's bypassing the mainstream media, and they hate him for it.
I mean, as part of that analogy, you just cast all the media as pigs there. Setting that aside for a moment, does this mean that he's not going to go out and do press conferences at all like that? I mean, do you not see this happening anytime in the near future?
Oh, I think at some point he'll do press conferences, but I don't think he's going to subject himself to the flogging that a press conference would be every time he goes out there. When he has done press conferences in the past, sometimes they become very testy. Reporters ask him the same question 6 times in a row. They get the same answer. They keep asking the same question. So, you know, let me put it this way. It's never a smart thing to help load the gun that's pointed at your own head. For Donald Trump to go out there and stand in front of a group of reporters from the Washington Compost to the New York Slimes who have done everything in their power to try to be dismissive of him, to discredit him, to attack everything and every motive he's ever had, you know, I can't say that I truly blame him for not wanting to go out there and stand, you know, in front of the bullseye.
Okay, that was a lot of imagery that you put together there, my friend. Let's move on for a second. Let me ask you about Rex Tillerson, because that's another thing that has the media and a lot of people in a tizzy. For example, Senator Lindsey Graham said earlier, based upon his extensive business dealings with the Putin government and his previous opposition of efforts to impose sanctions on the Russian government, there are many questions which must be answered. I expect the U.S.-Russian relationship to be front and center in his confirmation process. There's a fear that he's too friendly with Vladimir Putin. Do you think that he views Vladimir Putin as a thug and an enemy, the way somebody like Senator McCain would characterize him? How do you think Rex Tillerson feels about Vladimir Putin?
I mean, the honest answer is I don't know how he feels, but we're going to find out in the Senate confirmation hearings. And frankly, that's exactly why we have those hearings. And I think it's a healthy thing to let Rex Tillerson go, have those questions posed to him, and let him answer. But one thing I think people have to keep in perspective, he went and had relations with Vladimir Putin as a business executive leading a global worldwide company. If he's Secretary of State, the mission that he goes to accomplish is quite different. So I think a lot of people are getting a little overly anxious about something. Let me give another example.
Yeah.
I use Apple products. I drink Starbucks coffee, and I order stuff from Amazon. Now, I'm at great odds with the philosophical, ideological views of the CEOs of all of those companies.
We gotta go.
But I do business with them.
Yep. No, I hear you.
That's the point I think we need to realize with Rex Tillerson.
That makes a lot of sense, and we will certainly watch and listen for his answers. We appreciate it, Governor. Thank you.